Hello and welcome to another episode of the Roach Koach podcast, the journey to create the new metal canon. My name is Lauren Kozlowski. With me, as always, the original Roach rider, Mr. Matt Nas.
Keep it rolling, baby.
Matt, we have to keep it rolling, sir. Despite nature, despite the world's attempts to keep us down, this podcast just keeps on rolling.
Buddy, I have been pushing what I like to call a bit of a hard time over here. Have not had a great couple of weeks, but you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Everything just sets you up for a comeback, baby.
That's right, Matt. The last couple of weeks have been a wild for you and for me. Your mouth basically fell out of your face.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
You ready?
I'm ready.
You don't even know the whole story.
Oh,
So
boy.
we'll try to give you an abbreviated one.
Okay.
So I've been interviewing at a job.
Mm.
And on Wednesday, I want to say of last week, I went in for my final interview, felt very good. Thursday of last week, everything's feeling fine, cherry wine, but I'm starting to have a little bit of pain in my back jaw. No big deal. Friday, I'm like, something's going on with my back jaw. Saturday, I was like, I'm going to have to go see a dentist. Something's going on with my back jaw. Sunday, oh boy. Monday, which happened to be the holiday, was like, oh, fuck. I got to go see a dentist right now. So I go to an emergency dentist who does a nickel's worth of research in my mouth and goes, you need a root canal, which at this point, I have no idea how true or false that statement is. That's how good this goes. Begins to give me a root canal, which is, as a procedure, not fun, but mainly it's the application of the numbing agent that I will fucking murder a person if they ever do it like he did it, which was raw dog me. Just straight needles in my mouth. Awful. Just absolutely terrible. And then he starts doing it and goes, your tooth is calcified, which is as fucking new metal as it gets, baby. I got full calcium teeth. Bad, guys. This is bad news if you have teeth.
If you have teeth, for all of our listeners with teeth, this is bad news.
This is bad news. You hear the word calcified? Hold on to your ass. It's about to get worse. So let me just tell you a little something. This emergency dentist, not in network for me. I have already paid out of pocket for this procedure before they do it. Yeah. So now I'm working through getting that money back. And you know what I do the next day? Go to a specialist who is not in network, where I have to pay in advance for the procedure.
Jesus, Matt.
I then that guy goes, you don't have a tooth infection. And I go, then why is my gum leaking? And he goes, I don't know, but don't take any antibiotics when you don't have an infection. And I go, this sounds like great advice when you don't have an infection, but I'm pretty sure I do. But you know what? I'll not take it. I'll not take antibiotics. I have a full load from the first dentist. Then he goes, well, see you later.
Where are you finding these dentists, Matt?
This is a specialist. This is like a hammer specialist. He's like, you done with that? You done with my hammer? Well, see you later. That's all I do. I will look at gums. I will look at your oral hygiene. All I do is root canals. I'm a root canal guy. That's it.
From dawn to dusk, he's only in them canals, baby.
He's
digging them roots.
This dude is only in them canals. Gutting.
Oh my God.
And filling them canals.
Oh,
so
wow.
Okay. So I'm in Tuesday night, horrific pain. Oh, by the way, no pain reliever from this guy either. Just, well, see you later. Good luck. You'll have some swelling. I'm like, okay, great. The next day, I'm like, this is terrible. I spike a 100-degree fever. I'm just like, I have a fucking infection because I knew I had an infection. So I start taking my amoxicillin. My lymph nodes swell up to the size of tiny golf balls. So the one in the front of the one in the front, which is still a little agitated, and the one underneath my jawline, that one swells up. So even if I didn't have the incredible amount of pain that I already have because I have a massive gum infection. I can't move my tongue in my mouth because it presses down on these boulder sized rough, rough. Oh, I forgot to mention before all of this began, I am hypertensive. So I am now on blood pressure medication because your boy be falling apart, bro. So I am now monitoring my blood pressure and making sure that I'm doing everything possible to maintain a reasonable blood pressure. I'm finally feeling better. And the greatest thing is they have gone with another candidate. So your boy still be that unemployed life. Actually, I am employed. I'm self-employed, baby. Gabber Media is a business. Hey, you need some videos edited? Yeah, come to me. You want to start a podcast? We gotcha. You need someone to edit your podcast? Kind of. I'm your boy.
Matt, I'm just gonna say that during all this, people were like, "What's going on with Lauren and Matt?" Because a lot of craziness was going on in the world,
The world.
the world,
I was
and
flat on my fucking back.
Matt was flat on his back. I will just tell you the short version that my foot was acting weird last week, and I've since addressed this issue. All taken care of. All
Oh,
right,
that's good news.
not nearly as wild as Matt's, but I did have to sit in a doctor's office for a minute before I was given the news I could use. But all of that is secondary, Matt, because you and I convalescing, figuring out our lives, trying to make it to 50 if we could.
Just trying. Just trying to get another fucking episode of the Coach out.
That's right, Matt. Well, a big thing happened. Linkin Park decided to come back. But
Oh,
let
I've
me
heard
tell
about
you,
this.
we were like, "Oh man, we got to get in. We got to get an ep done." And then you got sick and I'm dealing with my thing. And then many developments have happened since Linkin Park decided to come back. And let me tell you, I was like, "Well, I'm glad we waited. I'm glad we waited." I'm saying even today as we record this, because this is going to go up in a week, I mean, more things could happen. So if you're listening to this app and you're like, guys, more things happen, we're trying, okay? We're trying to not die. Matt's trying to keep his mouth together. I'm trying to keep both my feet, okay? And we're also going to talk about the insanity of Linkin Park's return. First thing I want to talk about,
Okay.
Linkin Park had a countdown clock going. And everyone was like, oh shit, what's it going to do? What's going to happen when it hits 0? And the answer is it just started counting up again. And I got to tell
That's a
you,
classic radio trick.
it was a wild move, and
Wild move.
people were real mad about it. And considering that everything that happened since then that we're going to talk about,
This is just a blip on the radar, baby.
I got to say that there was something that happened. They were like, we could probably delay it a little bit longer. And as we're learning, they may have needed to delay it even longer. But anyway, so Linkin Park had a countdown clock. It went down to 0. Then it started counting up. Everyone's like, oh, what's going on? Then there's speculation. Who's the lead singer going to be? Who's this new lead singer going to be? And for a minute, everybody thought it was going to be Derek Wimbley from Sum 41 because he had also announced, hey, I'm going to have something happen. So then he had to come out and say, it's not me.
And honestly, before he came out and said something that happened in them digital streets, he had already performed with Linkin Park before doing Chester's parts. So that was everywhere.
Yeah, so everyone's, this is it, done deal, we got the scoop. And he's, I don't know, that's not what's going on. I have a book coming out. Sorry for any confusion. And I was like, oh yeah, let me pre-order the Derek Wimbley book. Gotta get them deets.
Gotta get them Sum 41 deets.
Yeah, now, if anyone is interested in this book, and I want to be serious about it for a minute, if you are interested in this book, you just need to go onto Amazon.com and type in the name of the book, which is called Bortion.
How
Anyway.
fucking dare you? I went on that ride with you, you piece of shit.
All right, so Derek Wimbley, he's out. He's not going to be the lead singer of Linkin Park.
Portion. By Derek Wimbley.
Typing it in. All right, so finally, they're like, okay.
Chapter 1 as a kid. Chapter 2 as a skid.
All right. So Linkin Park say, all right, no. For real, we're going to
For realsy,
announce.
here it
We're going to
comes.
do it for real. We're going to do it. So they have a show for just the fans, the
Yes.
LP Underground. Okay.
Fan exclusive.
Fan exclusive. They're just told to be at this place, which is some warehouse in Los Angeles. Be there, be square. All right. I'm going to say this right now before we get into anything else. I watched the entire concert. My two things of note. One, don't do your show in a warehouse. It stinks. Two, LP Underground. I need you to get that energy up. Okay? Linkin Park is performing in front of you. They're debuting their new lead singer right now. They're running through nothing but hits.
Yeah, it was like
Okay? If we take the mic, if a lead singer takes the mic from their mouth and then puts it out to you, the audience, to sing back, I need you to wake the fuck up. LP Underground, what is going on? Talk to me. Why are all of you asleep at this performance? Made no sense to me. Very weird. Anyway, Linkin Park come out. They're playing little bits of Castle of Glass, the Requiem, Somewhere I Belong, and Numb. They start playing a new song. Audience is like, oh shit, new
here it
song.
is.
Here it is. Shinoda's singing, also sort of rapping, goes into the chorus. Then this woman comes out. She starts singing. Oh my goodness. What's happening? What's going on? It's the new single. It's called The Emptiness Machine. And it's their new lead singer or co-lead singer, however you want to put it, Emily Armstrong, from a band I've never heard of called Dead Sarah. So this concert happens, and the main thing coming out of the concert first is like, how'd she do? How'd she level
Right.
up with these songs? Because they run through everything. Somewhere I Belong, Crawling, Line from You, The Catalyst, Waiting for the End, Numb, One Step Closer, Lost, What I've Done, In the End, Faint, Paper Cut, Bleed It Out. Okay? So they're doing it all. Now, I watched this whole performance, and like I said, my biggest notice for the LP Underground, wake up.
Fucking get hype,
Get hype.
please.
Shinoda going into the audience, and everyone's like, okay. Shinoda's going into the audience. Anyway.
Question
what
for
I
you.
know,
You also said don't do it at a warehouse because
yes,
it's too dark, or why?
because it was very clear that the vibes felt very high school gymnasium
Hmm.
more than anything. It really did feel like, I think they were going for like intimate, and I'm like, you should have just done it in a small theater. You should have just found a small theater and packed him in. Put him in this warehouse. It just felt, yeah, I don't know. It just felt very, yeah, high school gymnasium. Like, I need you guys out by 4:30.
Didn't feel like
We got a craft
a
fair that's going to be
Linkin
setting up.
Park
Yeah. Yeah.
announcement.
It didn't
If
I didn't love that vibe on it. So, but I would say coming through it, I thought Emily Armstrong hit the notes. I
Mhm.
thought she had a raggedness to her voice that was a little Courtney Love, but
Okay.
I thought, you know, I thought that they were taking an interesting angle, and I was adopting the stance, the Jennifer Socia stance of, I'd like to hear more. I'm interested. They announce at the same time that they got a new album, full album that they made with Emily. It's coming out in November. It's called From Zero. And they're saying this is like a tie-in to the fact that the band used to be called Zero before they were called Linkin Park, and that they're starting over again. Got it.
Got it.
Now, at this same concert, Shinoda does introductions, introducing everybody. Introduces Emily, our singer Emily. Mr. Han gets introduced. Phoenix gets introduced. Then it's pointed out
Hey, man.
that
Somebody's missing.
that's right, we have Colin Brittain on drums.
Never heard of this person before.
Never heard of this person before.
Not a slight.
No, we just
Just
don't know
don't.
him. We don't know him. Now, that's right. Rob, no longer in the band. Then pans over to this guy, says, "This is our friend Alex filling in for Brad Delson." And I was like, okay,
Hmm.
interesting. Rob's out. Brad's got a sub. Okay. All right. It's fine. Come to find out the next day, Delson straight up not performing live anymore.
Correct. Done with that. Thank you
He's
very much.
put a whole statement out. I find creating behind the scenes, working behind the scenes with my team, that's where I'm at best.
I'm
And I
the
was like,
master of the knobs. You know,
I gotta
board
say,
wizardry.
Brad Delson decided that he was like, I ain't sitting on another tour bus for the rest of my
On
GD
my
life.
fucking life.
I'm
So
over it. I'm over it. Yeah. So
been
Delson,
there, done that.
he saw what the Killers guys were doing and saw how half that band retired from the road, and he said, "Why not me? Why
That
not me?"
I can still get a writing credit and a producing credit and not have to go on the road. This sounds like heaven.
The dream. You sit there. Yeah. Now I will say, listening to the Emptiness Machine, when the riff hit, I was like, "Yeah, this is a Delson riff," and I
Mm-hmm.
did mean that in a derogatory fashion, because you know, it seems like at a certain point that guy was just like, I could really go wild in the lab, but I am just not going to. I just can't be. I can't be bothered. I cannot be bothered. Now, coming out of this, you would think that we were going to be talking about, can Emily meet Chester? You know, can she create this? Will we be doing this
Well,
now?
I before we get because I know what's coming next.
Yeah.
Before we get there, before we got there, because I think it was like internet sleuthing took maybe there was a 4-hour delay between announcement and
I,
tweet.
I want to say it was. I want to say honestly, I don't remember anything hitting until the next morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, let's call it a 12-hour cycle here.
Mm-hmm.
In that 12 hours was the absolute dog shit dialogue of how fucking dare they replace Chester
Mm-hmm.
and how could they do this. Now, if you're in the side of how fucking dare they replace Chester, I do understand, but also at that point, Linkin Park is a business.
Mm-hmm.
Business ain't going good. We
Right.
need to figure something new out.
Listen, Mr. Hans got to put food on his family. Okay.
There's a bunch of people who have obligations.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, I hate to bring this up, but bands replacing lead singers after they leave or die
Is a
is
tale as old as time.
it is very common, and often it works out pretty well. AC/DC, ever
Is
heard of
the
them?
best example.
Yes, I'll start with them. Great start right there. And then, you know what? I'm not a fan of Van Hagar, but you know what? They carried on. They
Now, how
carried
are
on with it.
you on recent Alice in Chains? We have never talked about this.
Matt, I knew you were going to bring this up. And I want to let you know that I've listened to half of Black Turns to Blue. I don't know. I know I've listened to half of it. And I know I listened to about a half of Rainier Fog. And I thought they were fine. But it doesn't. Listen, I'm listening to Dirt. I'm listening to the self-titled. Okay. I'm
I think
not.
that's
Yeah.
also a clear demarcation point as well
Yeah.
for all of fandom is that Linkin Park was never going to make another hybrid theory.
Well,
Like that really do you
if you
think From Zero is them trying to make another hybrid theory?
well, the thing I was thinking about, and we're not even to the meat of
To the meat of the
the meat of
conversation,
the
but it's
conversation. But I remember thinking this, everyone's, oh, what's this gonna mean? Whatever. And it's like, guys, go back to January when we did a whole episode on One More Light.
right.
Linkin Park were not exactly dropping gems right before they
That's what
called
I'm
it.
saying. That was
Yeah,
we're synced. We are synced
yeah,
because I'm just like the band that you fell in love with had
Mhm.
the albums that you were already in love with. Before we started rolling, we were talking about Weezer, and I'm sure there are modern fans that don't go back to the Blue album in Pinkerton, and I don't know who they are, but I'm sure they exist, and they're just like, no, I'm a real big make believe guy, and I really really like that. I can barely say this. I really like that Africa cover. This defines the band to me. Look,
Matt is
all I'm
channeling a
saying is fandom
maniac.
fandom is peculiar.
It is.
And
It is.
with this particular one, because of how we lost Chester, it is very emotional for a lot of people,
Mhm.
which is fully understandable.
Right.
And they may not want them to go on, but it is an entity. It is people that performed on those records as well, sang on those records as well. And they have the right to go, we're going to keep going. And you have the right to be like, well, I'm not coming with you.
Right.
Everything's cool, baby.
Everything's cool, babe. So that's the thing. So that seems to be the debate. And I know our good friend of the show, Josh Toomey, he is, he was going back and forth with some
Well, I was a
internet
little
warriors.
shitty with him with this Pantera reunion, right?
Mm.
I gave him some shit. I was like, are you really seeing Pantera? And he's, hey, buddy, I'm seeing Pantera. And I was like, okay, cool. Never mind. I'll stand down.
Listen. And with all this, I mean, I can't even really, because that's the thing is if you're not a fan of it, then you can just move on with your life, as we've all learned. It's not like whatever this woman's singing is going to, she's not going to come into my house and throw away my copy of Meteora. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know.
Well,
I'm about to find some shit out.
well, anyway, so I went into the evening thinking, well, this will be the hottest debate, of this, maybe with a, little layer of sexism thrown in. Maybe that'll be the worst thing we
Classic.
got to deal with. Got to
Yep.
deal with it. A little bit of that. Wake up in the morning. Wrong.
Wrong.
I'm wrong.
So wrong.
Because it turns out,
Oh, if only.
it really, if only, it turns out that in 2020, Emily Armstrong was one of a group of Scientologists who openly supported that 70s show actor and convicted rapist Danny Masterson at his trial. Bad news bears. Because that's double barrel there. So for one, she's a Scientologist, and two, she was supporting somebody who was pretty clearly a rapist who was convicted. Then all of this comes to fruition, or comes to all of our to our knowledge, because Cedric from Mars Volta and At the Drive-In, his wife is one of the accusers of Danny Masterson. He puts them all on blast and says, how dare you do this? And then his wife puts an announcement out saying, like, how dare you? And then Cedric puts another announcement out where he calls out Linkin Park, calls them a Disney brand trying to resuscitate themselves, and then says, "Don't play At the Drive-In music as your pre-show anymore. Take us out. How dare you?" And so
Things
all this,
are going great.
I see all this. I'm like, oh my god, this is too much. Then before we can even record today, I'll just read the headline from Stereo Gum. Chester Bennington's son says Mike Shinoda betrayed Linkin Park fans by hiring new singer. I'm like, this is going badly.
Now this is really going badly.
So, according to this, I'm just going to read this. It goes, hey, Mike, people aren't having a difficult time wrapping their head around the prospect of Linkin Park reinventing itself. They're having a hard time wrapping their head around how you, one, hired your friend of many years, Emily Armstrong, to replace Chester, knowing Emily's history in the Church of Scientology and her history as an ally to Danny Masterson, quietly erasing my father's legacy and life in real time, not only during a band interview meant to clear the air about certain aspects of Linkin Park's history and future, but during International Suicide Prevention Month. And then he says, I'd mention you on Instagram here, but you restricted my interactions with you because you don't like what I have to say. So this will have to do. And it just goes on and on. Apparently, Chester's son has a falling out with Mike's wife, which is a whole thing. And then this was an interesting thing. Apparently, there is a Zane Lowe interview. Matt, you and I did not watch this interview because it is 58 minutes long. And
And
we
I
just
find Zane Lowe to be fairly intolerable. Ah, Lauren, I mean, I listen to your bathroom recordings and I think to myself, this is a man who really, you really got it on this record. You sing in the shower like a nightingale sings in the evening air. I feel, tell me about your creative process in a way that's vague and also self-congratulatory.
well, Zane, I always like to start with the blank page.
That's where it begins. I think so too.
I start with the blank page and then I start adding little notes and ideas on it.
The
At the
notes is yeah, the notes.
at the end of that process,
Mhm.
I will generally have a song that I want to sing in the shower.
Yeah.
Now, a key part of this, though, is that I bring the paper into the shower. As the paper gets wet, it starts to disintegrate.
I
And I
find you to
realize,
be one of America's great songwriters on the par with Gershwin.
thank you, thank you. And so, as the water makes the paper disintegrate, I
Mhm.
realize as I sing it in the shower, this is
Yes.
it. This is
Yep.
first time,
For
last
58 minutes.
time. So, in this interview, according to Chester Bennington's son, there is a slip where they say that the album could have been in the works since at least 2019, if not 2017, putting to lie what Shinoda and others had said in other interviews, like their Billboard interview, where they said that everything has started to come together in the last 3 years. So that's one way to be like, about all of this. Now, I will say, Lauren, Matt, there is a Billboard interview that has a lot of this discussed as well. Well, I'll let you know. I read that Billboard interview,
Ooh, you
and
did.
it is one of the most boring, detailless interviews I've ever read in my
You think
life.
that shower paper thing was bad? Hold on to your ass.
Guys, this interview in the Billboard, it's a whole lot of we were just like vibing. We were just like get in the studio and then we didn't talk for a while. I read this interview and I was like, if I cut my face with a piece of glass just to feel anything, that might be how I felt. This is a very boring interview. Very, very boring interview. So, where we stand right now. Oh, and then during all this, Emily does release a statement where she sort of apologizes for supporting Danny Masterson, but she doesn't mention anything. And she doesn't mention anything with Scientology. And basically, everything that Cedric has said and Cedric's wife has said about how they were treated and everything involving Scientology and everything involving their intimidation tactics and everything, it's a bad look all around. And now here we are, basically, well, when this episode goes up, we'll be like 2 weeks out, 2.5 weeks out. But I don't think anyone is talking about the song The Emptiness Machine anymore. I
Nope.
feel like that ship has sailed. And I would say in this moment, I do not know how they write the ship on this. I really, really don't.
Ah, boy. You texted me the perfect text, which was grand opening, grand closing.
It really is.
It does not feel recoverable because she has no goodwill, and now the band is losing goodwill.
Mhm,
So that's a tough one.
mhm.
It isn't if the song's all right, we can fuck all night. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like we all heard that song and we're like, who cares? More of this, please. We were like, ah, a mid-tempo rock song. I
Right,
remember these. These are
right, yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I mean, also you look at something like, now you look at Delson being like, I'm just gonna stay at home for this. I'm like, well, yeah, no shit,
No
Delson.
shit.
No shit. Put your headphones on. Crawl into your bed.
Fucking idiot.
So yeah, I look at all this and honestly, the music now feels so secondary to all of it. And honestly, incredible blemish. And I don't know how they come back from this. I really don't know. And I know there's somebody, perhaps part of the LP underground, who were fucking asleep in that warehouse. I
Wake
would say
up.
maybe they're thinking, "Oh, don't worry, guys. You know this album's gonna have some bangers on it." And I was like, "Do we know that? Do we
I
know that?
cannot tell you with 100% certainty that this album's gonna have some bangers on it.
I don't know." Because that's the other thought I had, is that I watched this performance, and I want to stress once again, the audience, terrible. But
Which makes no sense.
I
Like,
know
they aren't playing, you know, they aren't playing songs you don't. These are the Lincoln. They
these
fucking played Faint.
they played
What are
Faint.
we talking
Yeah,
about?
exactly. But yeah, but on top of that though, I did have this thought because I was watching Shinoda rapping, watching him do his moves, and thinking about you know all of our heroes that we've been watching over the years do the damn thing to music that is in some cases 25 years old. We just saw Fred and the Boys crush it
So good.
live. But there was a sense like they were performing these songs, these, in some cases 25-year-old songs. But they were still being performed in a way that was true to the nature of their being. In that when even though obviously we're excited to hear Break Stuff, Break Stuff is still a song about how I want to break your fucking face tonight.
Yep.
It's a song of aggression. It's a song of anger. Now, granted, at the end of the Limp Bizkit show, they brought everybody out and it was sort of like a party on stage. But you got the performance up top at the beginning of the show, and it still had that anger and that grit to it.
Mhm.
And there were a lot of songs that we saw that night where it still felt like Fred was channeling it. He wasn't pantomiming it, he wasn't going through it. And if you could see those people in that front row, let me tell you, people were feeling those lyrics as much as anything.
Yep.
And you know what? You can perform your songs however you want to perform them. But there was just something about Mike Shinoda performing and doing rapping some of these songs with like a big smile on his face that felt counterintuitive to the message of songs like In the End and Somewhere I
Yes.
Belong, where I was just like,
Yes.
where it just sort of felt like these songs that had a meaning and meant so much to so many people, and now they're just whatever. The meaning's gone. We're just having a nice time performing these songs that now feel meaningless. If that makes sense. I didn't feel like, yeah, it was sort of just like we are doing these songs for you now. But any sort of pathos, any sort of, energy and anger and angst, whatever went into making these, it's gone now, and we're just knocking them out. We got them on a list, and we got to knock these bad boys out. And we got to
Yeah.
hope that Emily is going to be able to hit these notes for you. It's like a proving ground.
Hopefully she makes you feel something.
Exactly,
And
but yeah, it just really felt rote in that way. And maybe that's why the audience was kind of blah. I don't know, but I just remember
well,
near
it's
the end
interesting
of
you
it.
say that
Yeah.
because I was watching in the end right before we started recording the live version from the warehouse. And I didn't get that exactly. I didn't get that feeling. I definitely felt like there was more of a like a hey, we're here vibe. Yeah, we are doing this. We're doing it. This feels
Mhm.
like it's going well.
Uh-huh.
Like it definitely had
Mhm.
that, and maybe it's we're gonna fucking pull this thing off, guys. Yeah, we
Right.
we
Mhm.
did. We're gonna
Yeah.
make this transition.
Yeah.
The audience is in. I'm smiling. These songs, they're evergreen. They're classics. People like them. But to your point, when Bon Scott dies
Mhm.
and in comes my new lead singer to AC/DC, and I hear fucking Back in Black for the first time,
Mhm.
I'm like, "Oh, they're back, baby."
Right. Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
they got a new motherfucker, and he means it just as much. Like,
Right. Yeah.
And we don't know Emily. We
Right.
don't, but she's coming in and she's singing a very established part. And maybe that was part of the rub there, where it was like, I'm sorry, you know, uh, what is it? Always Adam Lambert.
Mhm.
He tours with Queen almost nonstop. I mean, he's
Right.
always with Queen now,
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
but he's not fucking Freddie Mercury, and we all know that, right?
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah, it's all a Freddie Mercury tribute show. Yeah,
at
absolutely.
this point. And I felt like it's more of a, you want to sing along to In the End now too, right? And she's going to be able to do it in the way that makes you feel like you can sing along to it. Cool. That felt like the agreement. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I
mean,
feel like I might be contradicting myself as
well,
well.
I don't
But
know. Well, the other thing about it though is that it is Linkin Park attempting to not become a legacy act. Like they're saying, we're back, but we also have new music. We're not done. We're not a legacy act.
mhm.
And that seems to be the thing that everybody always is fighting against. We don't want to be a legacy act. We want to keep putting out new music. We want to keep being relevant. You come to our shows and we do 8 songs from the new album and you're fine with it. And that's a tough road to hoe, as they say.
Yeah.
And the world is littered with them. U2's been fighting it forever, and I think they finally have given up.
Pearl Jam.
But Pearl Jam, let me tell you, this Pearl Jam tour, they did 8 songs from Dark Matter. I'll tell you that much. So
Good on them.
good on them, right? Yeah. So, but listen, they also do like a 25-song set, so it's not a big deal. Yeah,
I know. I
yeah.
know.
Listen, for the PJ diehards, they're living for it.
They're
All right,
living for.
they're living.
They played Rearview Mirror for the first time in 78
Oh
shows.
my gosh, they're playing Porch. All right. Anyway, much love to the PJ fans, but I will say that all of those things though are secondary now to how they handle all of the milkshake ducking that's gone on with this woman, because it doesn't look good. It looks bad.
Thank you for Milkshake Ducky.
That's what it is. And
For
so
for everybody, I feel like our audience is very savvy, but if
they
you
know.
have forgotten the Milkshake Duck tweet, just look it up.
Look it up. And so now here we are, and we've got an album, as far as I know, still coming, hasn't been canceled. But I don't know what's going to happen. Now, they could try to post through it. They just do the shows, and they keep it going, and they put the album out, and they do a few more shows, and then they do the Genesis move where they just, yep, sorry about that guy. We're our bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like they can tour, you know what I mean? Like they can go on this tour and they can kind of be like, the people who are going to come, and the people who aren't, and we can play medium-sized venues instead of large scale venues. And I mean,
Well, yeah, but
truly,
they're not going to just no. But that's the thing. Right now, Linkin Park Inc., everybody behind the scenes, they're looking at big, big venues. All right. That's
right.
what they're looking at. And
Headlining
yeah,
festivals,
absolutely.
big venues.
So, as I've always said, though, you know, and Jenny has said it too, cancel culture isn't real. The only thing that's real is that if the people who like you stop liking you,
There it is.
that's what it comes down to. If there are people that never liked you and then you do something bad and then they're like, I really don't like you, it doesn't matter. They were
Doesn't
never
matter.
part of the equation. So that's going to be the test. Because as we all know, Marilyn Manson is back.
Yeah.
Okay. He's back. And a lot of people apparently don't care. And that's fine. Whatever. I don't listen to Marilyn Manson anymore. That's my call. All right. So
And I'm not going to go see him live. So
exactly. So if Marilyn Manson can come back, then certainly Linkin Park can probably weather this storm. But I will tell you that when you go under those comments, a lot of the hardcores, a lot of the longtime fans are mad about this for a variety of reasons. So it's a tough
I
road to
think
hoe.
I think the toughest part of it is Chester's family being like, "You fucking
Yeah,
lied." That's
that's
that's the part that's kind of beyond the pale.
that's a bad look. It's a bad look all around. and you look at that and you're like, you know what, right now, everyone a week ago was like, wow, can't believe Rob turned his back on Linkin Park. And right now, Rob is sitting at home going, things are pretty good over here.
Hey,
Enjoying this. Got the
ring,
central
ring.
AC
Hi,
running.
Mr. Han.
Mr. Han, what's going
Got
on?
room on the couch next to me, baby.
Bring them turntables over, baby. Yeah. So yeah, and then obviously, Delson. I don't know. Delson's hiding under the bed with his headphones on.
Got
So
a Delson. Yeah.
listen, we will continue to breathlessly cover this story as it develops, and by breathlessly meaning that if
We might mention it again soon.
we might mention it again, and certainly when the album comes out, I will text Matt and say, I haven't listened to it yet. I'm saving it for my drive. That is what I will say. So that's, I think, the most succinct, detailed take on the Linkin Park situation. If you want more information, you can go over
to your local library.
Local library is a good place to go. Also, you can head over to googoo.com. That's right.
Ooh,
See how the
get that
Goo Goo
goo
Dolls
news.
get some Goo News. See how Johnny Resnick is approaching this. I'm sure he's got some takes. So check that out with the Goo News. Matt, we have a couple other things we want to talk about. In happier news, we do want to give a big old shout and thank you to the boys of Watership Down. They sent us some very kind words after we said some stuff about them on the show. Boys, thank you so much. We love the work. I love the screams. Keep them coming. Much appreciated. Matt, were you going to play me something?
I was going to play you something. So Tank the Tech, he's a YouTuber out there, and he had a new song, and I was like, that he listened to because he does a lot of React content. Not necessarily our thing in the, hey, let's get on Twitch and react to some songs, but if you're interested in something like that, let us know in the comments. Look at us. Look at us. Anyway, he played a song by a band called House of Protection. It's a two-piece, former Fever 333, and I'm trying to get the other band here. It has left me.
Oh, with Night Verses?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes. And I heard the song today, and I was like, it's got a pretty good groove to it. It's got a crunchy riff. Better take this to the dean, see what he thinks. So this is Pulling Teeth from House of Protection.
Scream a line loud enough that someone will believe. It may seem fairly obvious, but I don't think you'd agree. Please refrain from thinking it's what got us in this teeth. Yeah, there's a pattern from the past and it lives and dies with me. Hey! Spinning all your rounds till you slip off track. Blaming someone else as you build your stack. Running the parade to the ground and back. Just a campaign that you feel attacked. Dream a lie long enough that everyone will see. The absence of conditions start to roy out all your teeth. Shame there's not a muscle built to filter out deceit. I'll fix that pattern from the past and it lives and dies with me. Into the static, fade away, fade away. Into the static, fade away, fade away. Into the static, pulling teeth to cure the pain.
So, I mean, they're doing a lot of good things. They're doing a lot of things I'm not super crazy about, but I was like, let's see what the dean thinks.
Matt, I am in, baby. I am in.
I knew it.
I am in. And you want to know why I'm in, Matt?
Why is
Because
that, buddy?
let me tell you, I've been dealing with this week of Linkin Park, of them just, not figuring out what they need to do. And then honestly, even going all the way back to One More Light, and then just be like, listen, all you need to do is just get in that sweet spot of a killer chorus and give me some rockin', just some consistent rockin'. All right. I don't need like a big long build up. into some fucking New Divide Transformer shit. Just rock it out.
Yeah.
And these boys are rocking it out. I'm
It's
listening to this and I'm like, they take me back to 1998. All right. Me and my buddy Alan, we're on our bikes. All right. We're riding around. We're going to get ourselves some Mountain Dews. We're going to get ourselves some Cheetos. We're going to play some NBA Jam. We're going to play ourselves some Doom 2. We're going to live the life. And this is the music that you need. This is what it's all about.
Love it.
Give me 11 of these, all right? Give me 11 rockers. And here's the thing. Linkin Park used to be able to do that. They did it twice. So I hear this, and I'm like, this is it. I'm hearing this. I'm like, this blows this whole new Linkin Park song out of the water. Inject this into my veins, along with some Surge.
Buddy, I'm so excited because I felt like, all right. Because every once in a while I'll bring a song and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to play this. Don't even know if I'm going to do it. And then I heard this today, 2-piece.
Love a 2-piece.
So the drummer is the one who's singing first, and the guitarist is the one who took the more like Gorillaz-esque vocal style there. And then I don't know how it trades. The video is pretty fucking sweet too. It happens inside of what I guess would be called, they call it the pit of death in India, but it's basically like where cars ride around the walls. It's pretty sweet.
Oh, okay. My first thought when you said that was the pit that Bruce Wayne gets thrown down in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet pit of death.
It's a pretty sweet pit. And I know some people are like, how'd he get out those? Seem too easy. Don't worry about it. Okay.
It's fucking Bruce Wayne.
It's Bruce Wayne. Okay. Listen. I think everybody gets a little Bane pilled. And don't get me wrong. Bane for the first 3/4 of Dark Knight Rises, pretty sick. Okay. He's got a lot of good lines if you can make them out. And yeah. But at the end of the day, Bruce Wayne, he's about that life. Okay.
He's about that life.
Okay. Go back to Batman Begins and watch that dude clear out that party by just calling everybody out. All right. Watch him take that. Listen, when he takes apart that shotgun in Dark Knight, I was like, this is the sickest thing I've ever fucking seen. Listen,
So great.
a lot of cool stuff. But watching him just casually just take the whole gun apart, awesome shit. Anyway,
House of Protection's the name of the band. New album dropped at the time of our release for this show last Friday, called Galore, all caps. Pulling Teeth is the name of the song that we played. So I know 1000% former Fever 333 members. And this is, I want to say, their first full length together as a band. They have some support. I don't know who's supporting them because Tank found them through a literal band advertisement in his social feeds. But the video was so interesting that he was like, okay, I've got to see what the fuck this is about. So
yeah,
don't know industry wise how they're fitting in, but like listening to it, it's, well, the push makes sense.
absolutely.
So
and listen,
yeah.
that first Fever 333 album, which has been recommended to us and is on the long list, that thing's got some rippers to spare. So
there it is.
There you go. Maybe this is an inadvertent Fever 333 push. So
I'm delighted that you enjoyed it. I do lean things that you like, Lauren.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it.
It isn't all Corky and the Juice Pigs over here.
Matt, let's talk about who's emailing. We got an email from Jeremy Velarde. The subject, I wrote a song about Roach, Koach.
Yes, you did.
Let me tell you, I opened this so fast. Roach Riders, Indigo Angels. I wrote a song for you guys, well, at least a verse, or at the very least a few bars. It has been a new metal summer. My wife and I just celebrated our birthday with a night at Loserville in Salt Lake City on August 18th. My wife and I share our birthday on August 20th. I love it. We were born on the same day, 3 years apart. We also have the privilege of sharing our birthday with your new bestie, Fred Durst. Amazing. Anyways, I want to share this song with you. It's called New Dream, and it is streaming everywhere on all music platforms. It is packed with Roach Koach inside jokes and phrases. It is highly inspired by the GOAT, Charles Manson. In fact, if Charles wants to spit some bars on this track, I will send you an instrumental I was living that new metal life in the late 90s. I was in a new metal band called Blindfold 801 in Salt Lake City. I met Fred Durst back in 98 or 99. Limp Bizkit was opening for Faith No More at a club called Bricks. Fred was eating a hot dog. I gave him a little shove and gave him a hard time for not playing Indigo Flow. In hindsight, I was a massive dickhead. I love your podcast. I was going to be on a mission to bug you guys until you reviewed Motley Crue's Generation Swine, but instead we'll leave you be and just enjoy your awesome content. I am less of a
Appreciate that.
dickhead these days. Keep on rolling, baby.
Keep on rolling,
Jeremy.
baby.
Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy.
You know who's I saw Dr. Kevy the other day in them internet streets, and he was like, Generation Swine, whatever you're ready.
Kevy, I hear you. I see you. I can't right now. Why did
I got this foot thing that just got kind of wrapped up.
Listen, I just got this foot thing. Listen, Kevy, why don't you just come back on unrelated to Generation Swine? I love you, man. I just don't know if I want to deal with Motley Crue right now.
All right. Here's New Dream. I fast forwarded just a little bit into the song. Let's hear some bars, son.
There you go.
New metal's back, baby. Just ask a Roach, Koach. Indigo, Marky Post. Can I get a download? Red Hat and Chico's back in fashion. Don't believe me? Ask Charles Manson. Put me in the corner and feed me chicken strips. Get a fat lip from an anarchist in a mosh pit. My daddy's heavy metal. Hip hop is my mama. Ay caramba, live, laugh, la bamba. Get weather reports from Telemundo. It's his chance of storm, so see lightning, puto. Our dreams are not anchored in truth. Just like no scene is bulletproof. It's the same recycled dream that will never come true. But next to you, I got a new point of view. I was never the bee's knees, I could barely sting. My honey is bitter, just like my first CD. I was about that life.
All right. So you know Charles heard this and was like, yeah, I'll spit on that. But I don't know if you heard the first part of this episode where the person who plays Charles Manson has been fucking laid the fuck up.
Matt, I understand that you've got to recuperate. You've got to figure it out. Also, you did use a lot of your energy early on with that incredible Zane Lowe impression. So
that is true. I mean,
gotta reserve your energy. So Charles Manson, verse to come. Matt's just got to get his mouth right. Jeremy,
I'm going to say that I'll premiere that to the Patreon first.
Okay.
You know, got to give it as exclusive on the Patreon first. But then, you know, I'm going to bring it out to all the people.
All right. Well, there we have it. Jeremy, thank you so much
for
Jeremy. Writing us a song and putting all these references in. I'm flattered and I love it. Thank you so much. And also truly amazing that you and your wife are both born on the same day and also it's the same birthday as Fred Durst. Incredible
way to keep it rolling.
Incredible way to get that. That's exactly right, Matt. Perfect. Matt, there is only one way to end this episode of Roach Coach.
It's true.
And that is with Chad Radical's Rippers for Roaches.
Let rip.
Wow.
Matt,
we have been on this journey with Chad Radical's Rippers for Roaches list. And amazingly, we are on the last song.
That's true. This is a band called Black Bomb A. The name of the song is Mary. Chad Radical, longtime listener, Roach Rider for life. Thank you for such an esteemed list. Let's listen to Mary right now. This is Black A Bomb.
Oh, Mary, sweet Mary, my Mary, oh, 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 Mary, sweet Mary, my Mary, oh, 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 Mary, sweet Mary, my Mary, oh, 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 Mary, sweet Mary, my Mary, your time is fine, your time is fine, your time is fine, oh, Mary, I spent all your stuff, Mary, I spoke with
Holy shit.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, that was great. That was
Incredible.
fun.
Incredible. I'm sitting there, I'm like, is this going to come together?
Felt like she shanty for a second. Sea
For-
shanty?
It felt like
sea shanty.
a sea shanty and also a she shanty,
Oh yeah.
because we were talking about a Mary.
Ooh.
And then it exploded out. We learned that this group has two different types of screamers.
Yeah.
High pitch screamer and a low screamer. Two screamers, no singer, strictly screams. And for a while there, it feels like they're so enraptured with just the riff and the vibe that they're all just going to keep yelling "yeah" over and over again. And honestly,
you know what? I'm here for it.
I was fine with it. I was like, if this song never has any actual lyrics,
I don't care.
it feels like it's not a problem.
Who fucking cares?
Doesn't matter. Then they had the lyrics, and I was like, all right, this is fine. But you could have just kept yelling "yeah" over this riff. Would have been fine. Would have been totally fine. So I loved it. I thought it was great. I want to hear more.
Yeah?
I need to hear more.
Put it on a longer list?
A longer list. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily long listed, but I do want to hear more. Maybe just in my private time. I don't know. But that was really quite something. And that was Chad Radical's Rippers for Roaches.
That was the last one.
Amazing. So we will
Next week? Next 2 weeks?
next 2 weeks, we'll have to dive into a new list. I'll have to dig into the email. I know we've got more lists, but if you have a list, send it over to us. roachcoachpodcast@gmail.com. If you have a list of rippers that you think we need to hear, or crushers, bangers, mashers, moshers,
Ooh.
all different types of songs, send them
Yeah.
over to us. And we'd love to hear them.
Old dogs, new tracks.
Ooh, there you go. There you go.
Just having a theme is
Yeah.
helpful to get your list.
Give it a good name. Give it a good title. All
Yeah.
right. If you just say, here's a list I
It's
made.
gotta pop. It's gotta have that zazz.
You gotta catch our attention, all right? A lot of emails coming in.
So much happening.
All right. Jeremy wrote us a song, okay? You gotta put some thought into it, okay? All right. Anyway, appreciate it, everybody.
Because we're the Linkin Park now.
All right. Oh, boy. You know what? That does bring us to the end of this episode of Roach Coach. Thank you so much for listening. Keep on saying hello to us online. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We're on all of those. Send us an email, roachcoachpodcast@gmail.com. Slide in those DMs. Say hello that way. And until next time, Matt, thank you.
Lauren, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Roach Coach.
Podcast.
Hot all day, every day.
Is the Roach Coach.
Podcast.
All day, every day.